મમ્મી હું કરું બોલતી નહીં. Good morning, everyone. On the behalf of Bhakta Kavi Narsimha Mehta University, I, Riddhi Patwara, research scholar of the Department of Commerce and Management, warmly welcome you all to the PhD coursework second round lecture session. It is my pleasure to introduce our respected resource person, Dr. Manju ma'am. She is working as an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce and Management at Swami Vivekanand Rural First Grade College, Bangalore. She has a strong academic and research experience in her field. She has actively participated in academic research by presenting paper at both national and international conference. She has also published several research papers in reputed journals including Scopus Index, UGC Care, ABDC, and other peer-reviewed journals. In addition to her research work, she has served as a reviewer for the Social Responsibility Journal, which is indexed in Web of Science. She is also contributing as a member of the editorial board, which saw her active involvement in academic publishing. Her area of interest in commerce and management, along with her research experience, make her session very valuable for all of us. We are confident that her lecture will help us gain better clarity and improve your research approach. We are truly thankful to Dr. Manju ma'am for taking time for her busy schedule to guide us. I warmly welcome Dr. Manju ma'am and invite her to begin today's session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Can we start?
Yes, ma'am.
The screen is shared, no, ma'am. Can you share the screen? The next slide. And first of all, I would like to welcome you all for the session, and very much happy. And first of all, I would like to thank the university for giving me this wonderful opportunity. Then, along with that, Dinesh Kumar sir, I'm very much happy that you have given this wonderful opportunity to deliver the session and having a confidence in me. And dear students, today the concept what we are going to look into it is the conceptual framework and theoretical framework, where it is a foundation and basic for any research scholar. So without that, we cannot proceed our research work. I hope so that I'm very much clear and audible. If any queries are there, please put in the chat box at the end of the session. So let us look into it. So first, let me introduce about the conceptual framework, why it is very much important. The conceptual framework. So before that, let me ask one question like, so which makes you understand better. So if you want to construct any building, what is very essential, the foundation is very important and the structure. So based on that, only the building can be constructed. So when we correlate with our research work, even the conceptual framework and theoretical framework plays a vital role. So without the proper structure, without the foundation, we cannot move forward towards a research. So let's start with the conceptual framework. The conceptual framework is a logically developed structure of concepts and variables that provides a systematic relationship among the construct in the research study, and basically it has been derived from the existing theories, literature review, and researchers insights and assumption. So it is the constructs which has been developed by the researcher itself. So it is a model. Ma'am, can you share the screen? Hello? Is the screen is visible? Can anybody tell me? Like I'm not able to find like what's going on. Yeah, the screen is visible. So the conceptual framework is a researcher developed model. Sorry for causing an inconvenience. The conceptual framework is a researcher developed model that explains the expected relationship among variables guiding the study. And it is basically developed by the researcher himself by taking the inputs like from the various sources, from the literature review, etc. And what is the purpose of this conceptual framework? It gives us various significance, and it clarifies the research problems. It identifies the key variables, like what are the variables we are supposed to take, like independent variable or dependent variable. And not only that, it is trying to help us to establish the relationship between the dependent variable and independent variable, and guides us for going for hypothesis formulation. And also it provides a basis for data analysis and interpretation. And the components of the conceptual framework, what we are supposed to take it, that is the independent variable. So as we know that there are two important variables in the research which has been constructed upon, that is independent variable and dependent variable. The independent variable are those factors that influence or predict the outcomes, like let us take the example like teaching quality or technology usage. And dependent variable is an outcome of an effect, that is the student satisfaction. So literally the student satisfaction is depending on the teaching quality and technology usage. And if our research has to be a very good constructive, we can go for mediating variable and moderating variable. And the framework is also helping us to identify which could be taken as a mediating variable. It explains like how or why the independent variable is affecting the depending variable. For example, student engagement, it is having a direct it is going between the direct variable and indirect variable. And the next one is the moderating variable. It is influencing the strength or directions of the relationship, especially it is telling like it gives a strong opinion like how it is influencing the relationship between the direct and indirect, like socioeconomic background. To make you understand better, I have taken a concept and the title. So, how the conceptual framework can be defined and how it can be written. For example, let us take impact of job stress and job satisfaction. Here, the research problem is that why do employees feel unsatisfied even when they are employed? Now, what is the major reason? So, it has been identified with the help of a literature, that is the job stress. So now after identifying the research problem, and we are going to identify the variables, that is the independent variable and dependent variable. And these constructs have been made by the researcher himself. So that is why we call it as a conceptual framework with the help of the literature review, which has been done based on the other studies. Like here we have taken independent variable are like job stress. Like let us take the workload, role conflict, it can be time pressure, it can be, or job insecurity. And dependent variable for us is that job satisfaction. So what we are trying to tell you, the job satisfaction has been impacted by the job stress. So job stress has nothing to do with now the dependent variable job satisfaction, how the employee is getting satisfied. Now employee happiness, commitment, motivation can be taken as a job satisfaction constructs. As I already said, to make the research more worthy in itself, we can go for moderator and mediator. So mediator variables are like that, like stress coping mechanism, like how the stress affects the satisfaction. We are trying to tell how the stress is affecting the satisfaction. And moderating variable, we are trying to tell how the strength of the relationship is getting influenced, like work environment, organization support. These are influencing the relationship between the direct variable and independent variable. So here we are trying to tell that high job stress is reducing the job satisfaction. This is our outcome. It is a conceptual framework what we have framed. We are trying to tell that job stress is reducing the job satisfaction, and employees with better coping mechanism can manage the stress effectively, leading to the improved satisfaction. Now, where we have taken a mediating concept here. And the positive work environment and strong organizational support can weaken the negative stress effect of stress. Here we are taking the moderator. So if you could see here, like we have taken four variables, like independent variable, dependent variable, moderator, and mediator. So this is the framework. This is the conceptual framework which has been drafted for that example, how job stress is having an impact on the job satisfaction. So here there is a direct relationship. We are trying to tell that job stress with the coping of mechanism, it is having an impact on job satisfaction. Either it can lead to positive, otherwise it can lead to negative. At the same time, it is also showing the strength of the variables, that is work environment is also causing, and organization support also result in both job stress and job satisfaction. And the conceptual framework will help us to even identify the hypothesis. The hypothesis can be derived with the help of the conceptual framework, where I have taken few examples for you guys, like job stress has a significant negative impact on job satisfaction. Coping mechanism mediate the relationship between job stress and job satisfaction. Work environment moderates the relationship between job stress and job satisfaction, and organizational support moderates the relationship between job stress and job satisfaction. So finally, we can tell that the conceptual framework, we are trying to tell that job stress is influencing the job satisfaction, but this relationship is being shaped by how employees cope up with that with the help of the work environment in which they work. I hope so that you're able to follow, or are you can you able to understand and follow? So if you could, yeah, tell yes, we can proceed further. And any clarification has been required for the conceptual framework, so that we can move on to the theoretical framework. So feel free to ask. And because it is such a wonderful platform which has been created for the PhD scholars by the university. It is a great thing what I could see here. Shall we move on to the theoretical framework? Yes. So now what actually the theoretical framework it is telling? The theoretical framework is a foundation of a research, and the study is basically made on the existing theories. Excuse me. So here the theoretical framework is a foundation of the research study based on the existing theory that explains like why a particular relationship variables is being expected. So it is a theory or theories that support your research problem. Here we are going to take the theories which has been already demonstrated by a few of the researchers and many people. Now, for example, let us take like motivation theory. The major thing is that Maslow's theory we can take, or Herzberg's two-factor theory we can take. So based on the theory, we are going to formulate the theoretical framework. So it is extremely different from the conceptual framework. On the conceptual framework, we are trying to derive all the constructs based on the research which has been already been done, and it is a researcher model. Here it is a theoretical model which has been taken from the last previous study which has been made by the experts. So the theoretical framework is a structure of an interrelated concepts derived from the established theories that provides a systematic explanation for relationship among variables in a study. So for that, we can understand it more. So before going to the further, let us make it very much clear and understand what is conceptual framework. The conceptual framework is that what relationship you are studying. So conceptual framework is telling like what relationships you are studying, and theoretical framework is telling like why those relationships are existing. So what is the purpose of the theoretical framework? So almost the purpose of the theoretical framework and conceptual framework is quite similar, but here it is providing the theoretical justification for the study. You're trying and proving that the theories, whatever it has been said, you're trying to justify it, and also it is explaining the cause and effect relationship between the independent and dependent variable, and links the study with the existing knowledge. Here we are not going to create separately, and we are going to study the already which has been existing. And also it is helping us to create the hypothesis and make sure that there is an academic rigor and credibility, and we are trying to prove and we are giving a justification for the theories. The sources of the theoretical framework where we are going to take it is from the established theories and previous research studies and academic models. So these are the areas like where we are going to take from the information for the theoretical framework. So here we can have a detailed understanding with this help of the example. So already in the conceptual framework also have taken the same title, that is the impact of job stress and job satisfaction. And where in case of the conceptual framework, we try to identify the constructs based on the literature review, and based on that we have constructed the independent variable and dependent variable. But whereas in case of the theoretical framework, we are trying to take the theories. So here n number of theories have been taken. The first example is that to build a theoretical framework, we are supposed to take the relevant theories. So which has been relevant to the job stress and job satisfaction. For example, the job demand control theory, which has been proposed by the Robert Karasek. So it explains that high job demands plus low control, it is leading to high stress. So this leads to low job satisfaction, excuse me. And the another theory, what it has been taken, which has been related to the job stress and job satisfaction, we have taken Herzberg's two-factor theory, which has been proposed by Frederick Herzberg. So in the theory, what is trying to explain in sense, the job satisfaction depends on the motivators. That is the achievements, it can be recognition. And here it is said that the stress factors, the poor conditions can reduce the satisfaction. So if there is no proper achievement and no proper recognition is being given, it is leading to the stress, and this stress is reducing the satisfaction. The transactional theory of stress, which has been proposed by Richard, he is explaining that this stress depends on individual perception and coping ability. And this is leading to the variation of satisfaction level. So it is, of course, the individual perception, based on their perception, the positive perceptions or negative. So it might lead to the higher job satisfaction level or least job satisfaction level, and how they are coping up with the ability. So it is depending on that. So stress is depending on the individual perception and the ability to cope up with that. And this is having an adverse effect on the satisfaction level. Now, how to write a theoretical framework, and this is a structure. So now, first of all, the first step for the course learners, the PhD research scholars. Now, when you're taking the theoretical framework has the important foundation for your research work, the first step is that introduce the theory, explain the theory briefly, like how many theories you're going to take and what are the theories. And now you're going to link the theory to the variables, like how you need to show how it relates to your independent and dependent variable. Then after that, you have to justify the relationship, explain whether the relationship is really existing. And if you want, you can integrate multiple theories. Now, for example, I have taken multiple theories here. We have taken, even we can take Maslow's theory. So Maslow's theory is telling that when the person is satisfied in the first level, okay, his psychological needs has been satisfied, he is moving on to the next level of the satisfaction and is getting motivated. So now how to derive the hypothesis from the theories now. So based on the demand control theory, we are trying to tell that high job demand, low control, increase the stress and reduces the job satisfaction. So with that, we can frame three hypotheses, or n number of hypotheses can be framed. And for limited, for understanding, we have framed only limited hypothesis. Job stress has a significant negative impact on job satisfaction, we are trying to tell, and we are trying to prove it. High job demands are positively associated with job stress. Excuse me. Job control is negatively associated with job stress. So when we take the, based on Herzberg's two-factor theory, poor working condition can reduce the satisfaction And the hypothesis is that job stress, that is as a hygiene factor, it can negatively affect the job satisfaction. Improved working condition, reduce the job stress and increase the job satisfaction. So this is what we are trying to identify with the help of the Herzberg's two-factor theory. And when we take the transactional theory of stress, that is, stress is having an impact on depends on the individual perception and coping. So here we are trying to take the mediating variable, that is coping mechanism mediator we are taking for this year. Coping mechanism significantly mediate the relationship between the job stress and job satisfaction. Here the coping mechanism, we are going to take it as a mediator, and employee with effective high coping strategy experience, higher job satisfaction is there. So here we are taking the moderators. The next is that moderation based hypothesis, where we are taking the moderator into account. Work environment moderates the relationship between the job stress and job satisfaction. Organization support moderates the relationship between the job stress and job satisfaction. So here the limited four important hypothesis has been framed out of all the theories. So first one is that job stress negatively influences job satisfaction. Coping mechanism mediate the relationship between job stress and job satisfaction. Work environment moderates the relationship between job stress and job satisfaction. And organizational support moderates the relationship between job satisfaction and job stress. And it is not that mandatory that we have to take moderators and mediators, and we can go for the full fledged of understanding the relationship between the independent variable and dependent variable. But when we are going for the Scopus indexed journal publications and to have your research work a good weightage, we can go for the mediator and moderators. And many of the Web of Science papers and Scopus index papers are expecting to have an in-depth study, so where the PhD work is getting more weightage when you're using the mediators and moderators. And when we come to the comparison of the theoretical framework and conceptual framework, the basis for the theoretical framework is going to be the existing theories. So there are n number of existing theories, and when you're taking marketing also, like there are different types of theories which is going to tell about the pricing. And when we take the motivation, there are different motivational theories where you can take as a theoretical framework. So based on that, you can identify your independent variable and dependent variable, and trying to give a justification for the existing theories, and you're trying to prove that yes, and the motivation theory, whatever it has been said by the Herzberg, and the motivators are leading to the high satisfaction, less satisfaction. And when we come to the conceptual framework, it is full-fledged of the researcher model, and you can have your own constructs and you can develop your own model. And both theoretical and conceptual framework is having its own advantages, and it is having its own weightage. You can use in your study both theory, anyone, like either you can go for theoretical framework and conceptual framework. And it focuses on theoretical framework is focusing on the explanation, like why there is a relationship, it is existing between the independent variable and dependent variable. It is telling like how and what, how the relationship is existing between the independent and dependent variable. The nature of the theoretical framework is fixed and structured because you cannot move out of the theories whatever it has been constructed. But the conceptual framework is that based on the experiences, based on the already whatever the study has been made, based on that we can go. So it is flexible. And the role of the theoretical framework, it is a foundation of a study. And as I already said, like if a building has to be constructed, for that what is very very important, the foundation. So your entire research is standing on the foundation of your theoretical framework. So how the building is standing on the foundation, your work is standing on the theoretical framework. And conceptual framework, yes, of course, like for a building construction we require the structure. So that structure has been said by the conceptual framework, that is the blueprint of the study. So conceptual framework is telling about the blueprint of the study. So here, when we come to the end of the session, in the research, both theoretical framework and the conceptual framework plays a very, very important role. And it is very important for building a strong study. And the theoretical framework, it is providing a fundamental base by drawing an establishment theories, helping the researchers like explain why a particular phenomenon occurs. It ensures that the study is grounded in the existing knowledge and gives an academic credibility to the research. On the other hand, the consumption framework, it is translating these theories into a practical structure by identifying the key variables and illustrating their relationship. It reflects the researchers identify understanding the problems and guide the direction of the data collection, analysis and interpretation. A good research study is not about choosing one over the other, but about effectively integrating the both frameworks. So when you're inculcating all these things, it is if you're implementing and inculcating all this, it is your research work is going to be really good. And any questions is there or any queries? Please let me know so that I can clarify your doubts. Anybody require any more explanation? So let me give you some more information about the research. And it is not part of the conceptual framework and theoretical framework, which is very, very important. And how a research has to be done. So that you can understand like when this conception framework and the theoretical framework it is going to apply. So let me tell the process. As a researcher, first you need to go for the literature review and identify what is the existing gap and what is the research problem. The research problem and research gap is both are different and it is not same. So based on the research gap, you're trying to identify what is the problem. And once you understand what is the research problem and the statement has been formulated, then we will be going for the conceptual framework or theoretical framework, because by the time it is going to give you a wide area of knowledge, like what particularly you have to you what particularly you have to study about and how your study you are supposed to take. And it is giving a foundation and it is giving a blueprint like on what how your research has to be carried on. So once you complete your literature review and establish your objectives and identify, yeah, before that identify what is your research gap. From the research gap, try to formulate your research statement, problem statement, identify your research questions. Once it has been completed, go for the formulation of the objectives. So once your objectives has been formulated, to match your objectives, now you have to identify the constructs. So based on the for developing the constructs and to identify what is your independent variable and independent dependent variable, it is very much important for you to go for the theoretical framework and conceptual framework. Choose any one. It is depending on the study whether I need to go for the theoretical framework or whether I need to go for the conceptual framework. Theoretical framework, when it is going to apply, when you're going to justify some certain things and you're not going to have your own model. For example, the motivation theories, for anything you do with the help of a motivation, try to go for the theoretical framework, because the theories has been already formulated by the great people, and we are trying to take that and adopt in our research and trying to justify it whatever they have said, like Herzberg's theory it can be, Maslow's theory it can be, and we are trying to give a justification like whatever they have demonstrated in their theory we are trying to exhibit, and we are trying to tell whether it is we are not trying to prove anything. Okay, we are not trying to prove anything here, we are just giving a justification whether the anything and the customers are satisfied, the employees have been satisfied or not satisfied, whether they have been motivated or not motivated with the help of the financial terms. Like, and we are giving an information to the management like what they can do for the employees, so etc. That comes under the theoretical framework. And when you're really good enough and you want to construct your own models and you're strong enough and strongly believe in yourself, and where the theory is not required for your support, you can go for the consumption framework. So let us take, like, for example, job stress and job satisfaction, and it is a very beautiful topic. Actually, my PhD topic is relevant on the job stress and job satisfaction, where I have taken the conceptual framework rather going for the theoretical framework, because the conceptual framework, it is about the experiences of the people which I had taken in my study, and I have taken the literature review for my reference, and with that help, with the help of the literature review, I have constructed my own um, parameters and the constructs, that is independent variable and dependent variable. And the conceptual framework, it is little bit flexible when compared to the theoretical framework, where you can put your own ideas and you can demonstrate your new ideas and involvement in the study. In the theoretical framework, we cannot go beyond the theories, because whatever in the theory, we are supposed to justify it. So that is the one difference between the theoretical framework and the conceptual framework. So the conceptual framework, it has been derived, it is based on the researchers, it is a researcher thinking, and it is a researcher model, where can you can create your own model. So that benefit is there in case of the conception framework, and conception framework is really beautiful, and it involves more ideas, and it is quite interesting, because you are going to construct all the independent variable and dependent variable, and that is possible with the help of the conceptual framework. But one should never think that the conception framework is better than theoretical framework, or theoretical framework is better than conception framework. It's not that. A good research, as I said, it is depending on what you're choosing and how effectively you're integrating into your framework. So that is very, very important for your study. So consumption framework, there are n number of examples I can take, like job stress and job satisfaction, and we can have an activity, like if you are very good, if anybody could interact in this session, we can have a very good interactions, like we can take job satisfaction and job stress. Okay, we can take a reverse also. Like I have taken the impact of job stress on job satisfaction, we can also take the impact of job satisfaction on the job stress. We are trying to tell that job satisfaction is leading to the job stress, and here we can take the another parameter also, like turnover. The moderator, the mediator, we can take the mediator as a job stress. Okay, and like that also we can frame it. Job satisfaction is leading to the job stress. Job stress becomes a mediator here. Because of the job stress, the employee wants to quit their job. That is the turnover intention. Like you can construct your own model here. Can anybody tell, like, what might be the reason, like why the employee might quit the job, in spite of the companies providing the, we are liking the job and we are putting ourselves in the job, right? And why do the employee wants to leave the job? If you're interacting, it will be very good, so we can learn better. The activity, the interaction gives more interesting. Anybody over there, it will be very, I'll be very happy that you can interact. You want more examples, we can have an interaction. We can also take the marketing also, how we can go for the, in the marketing also we can take few things, like customer satisfaction. The sales can be improved if the customers are being satisfied, and what can be taken as a mediator, which can be taken as a moderator, and what elements, what constructs can be taken as a dependent variable and independent variable. I wish the audience, if we could interact, we can have more, some more concepts where we can involve together. So here, let me give one example related to the marketing. If anybody is doing your work on the marketing, we can take like that. The sales satisfaction, the customer satisfaction we can take. When do the customer satisfy? When do the customer get satisfied? It is because of the sales service or the way the yeah, it can be taken like the services. Like the services are leading to the customer satisfaction, and here the services becomes the dependent variable, and the services becomes the independent variable, and the customer satisfaction is going to be the dependent variable. Like how good services has been rendered by the company, that much the satisfaction level of the customers also is going to increase. Like what type of the services can be given to the customers, like on time delivery, on time attending the calls, and whatever the inquiry has been made by the customers, and giving the on time prompt information. So this leads to the customer satisfaction, and the customer, it not require the customer has to purchase the product. If you the customer wants to come to you, you need to give such a service so that the customer will come to your company and they will purchase the products. So here we need to identify like what type of services has to be given and how I can satisfy the customer. So these plays a very important role, like dependent variable and independent variable. So based on that, you can have a construct like which can be the independent variable and which can be a dependent variable. Yeah, well, you can take the vice versa also. So not required that the services are having an impact on the customer satisfaction. We can also tell the customer satisfaction is having an impact on the services. So here with the customer satisfaction, we can also take it as an independent variable, and the services can be taken as a dependent variable. Hello, ma'am. Can we come to a conclusion? We can conclude this session. I need more number of participants who can interact so that I can give you much information. And actually, I'm very happy to see this platform, especially for the PhD scholars. The university is doing such a great job, because even so many university does not provide this type of platform to provide these informations, which as a research scholar in the beginning of my research days, which I had struggled a lot of completing my research because of not given much information about all these basic things. And especially Dinesh sir is doing a wonderful job, and I have seen that he is working behind so much things, and the university is doing so much things for the PhD scholars. I request you to utilize this in a best core extent, because many of the research scholars are not getting this wonderful opportunity to explore what they can do next. And the university is doing a wonderful job by giving you the information about the coursework and how a researcher has to do his research work in further. Ma'am, shall we wind up this session? If there is any queries, please place it. So let us have an interaction. Any more info? Like I can give you a few topics, like you can try it in your thing. So where you can go for the theoretical framework and consumption framework. So you can try it, like why do good employees quit the job, and what makes them to leave the job. So few topics are there, and the upcoming topics like ESGs, economic, social, and governance, and the comparative study of ESG and non-ESG, and how the AI is influencing. So can you put the question back? Somebody has asked some question. Decline of West by Oswald Springer. No, sir. Actually, it is new to me. I have not heard about it. And some information like related to that, I believe that it is regarding the industrial concept. Like, what is the concept you are telling is it is about the industry, and if it is relevant to the HR, I could give you a better informations. And this is related to the economic growth. I believe the question which was being posted now. Okay, let us move on to the wind up thing. And yeah, I would like to. I believe that the session has given you the basic concepts about the conceptual framework and the theoretical framework, and hope so that you people have benefited out of that, which will definitely help you for your research in the further upcoming days. And thank you for the organizing committee, the university, the NESER, and for giving this wonderful opportunity to be part of today's session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
introduction, what you have given me.
We are sincerely thanks to you, ma'am, for delivering a insightful and informative lecture on the topic conceptual framework versus theoretical framework. Your clear explanation helped us understand the difference between these two important concepts in a simple and effective way. The session was very useful for improving our research understanding and clarity. We are truly grateful for your valuable time and guidance. Thank you once again, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good day, ma'am.
Have a good day.